Yeah, I was just going to say that I join Mr. Naour in thanking you for gathering us all in one on one platform, and I hope that eventually we will have to meet one day and really collaborate and put all these amazing initiatives in practice. So what I'm gonna quickly speak about actually is what do we do? What is maritime archaeology? What is maritime cultural heritage? Why it's important and how it fits into the different people's expertise as well. So first of all, as many of you know, Lebanon has a very rich history stretching from prehistoric times until the Ottoman period. We have several sites that are set on the coast by river mouths, by bays, by inlets, and so on that offer protection from the dominant southwesterly winds, and the presence of water and resources, whether these are agricultural resources or fishing resources, have encouraged different settlements by the coast. So this is just a rough map to show you some of the I think it's about 27 sites that have been inventoried. I'm sure there is much more with evidence of maritime archaeology. Some of maritime archaeological sites are also found underwater, but I have not placed them on this map. Now, what is maritime archaeology and why it is important? Maritime archaeology is the interaction between people, humans, men, women. Shout out to the gender studies by Dr. Manar. Thank you. We need more inclusion on that level. So maritime archaeology is just a relationship between human beings and a body of water in the past. This body of water can be the sea, a river, a lake, marshes, intertidal zones, etc. And what is left in terms of archaeological signatures on the seabed or at the bottom of the lake or a river constitutes underwater cultural heritage. Now, in Lebanon, we have a wide variety of both maritime archaeological heritage and underwater cultural heritage. In terms of, yes, first point, please. The coastal, we've got coastal sites where you've got archaeological material present on land, but yes, please stay on that slide. This is just a very quick overview of the nature of the resource, right? So you've got coastal sites that we think, I mean, surely these are by the sea, so they are related directly to activities of humans. They testify to human activities with the sea, whether this is fishing or travel and so on, trade, commerce, regional, international, at different scales, at different periods of time. Not all the coastal sites have been, sorry, my cat, have been explored. You've got coastal urban sites such as Beirut, Byblos. We know, for example, in the urban excavations in Beirut that several harbor installations were found underneath the current urban mesh. We've got harbor structures, we've got shipwrecks, we've got maritime quarry sites, and these are somehow underlooked, but still they are super important because these are a resource for construction or for trade as well. These maritime quarry sites are found, for example, in Tripoli, in Anfe, in Batroun, on the Ziri Island in Sidon, in Tyre. And we must not also dismiss the rivers and their potential for maritime archaeology. And rivers need to, any management on a river or any modern modification of the river needs to take into account the potential presence of archaeology within the river course and on the river mouth. Next slide, please. So this is just a rapid overview of the nature of the resource. Now, this archaeological resource is under threat. Many of us share the same threats and share the same worries. They just apply to different resource. So what we are concerned with is the impact of, for example, trawlers on the archaeology. Like our colleagues are, for example, worried about the effect of the trawlers on the fishing industry and the fishing resource. So we do share common worries. Don't forget that Lebanon has, well, nobody is forgetting, sorry, I don't mean it this way. But something that we tend to overlook is the effect of the civil war on the archaeological source of Lebanon, to a point where the late Robert Fisk, great loss, has described Lebanon in the 90s as the supermarket of antiquities. You've got, therefore, at the end of the Civil War, we witnessed this excessive need to forget and move on and start rebuilding what has been destroyed. And this has impacted deeply archaeology per se and maritime archaeology as well. This rampant urbanization, which is financed by big corporate real estate companies, manifests itself into coastal resort building, which does not take into consideration the coastal or maritime underwater archaeology per se. To add to that problem, we've got, general disinterest, unfortunately, from the Lebanese population towards their heritage. When somebody encounters an anchor underwater, let's say, if it's a fisherman or a diver, they immediately think, okay, I'm gonna take this stone that is pierced and I'm gonna sell it for $100, and I'm set for at least a month, which is fair enough. But what we try to do basically is to change this perception and say, well, you know what, if you leave that anchor underwater and you take people to visit it, whether by snorkeling or by diving, and you take a certain amount of money, this is a more sustainable way to engage people and the community with underwater cultural heritage. We do have in recent times, no, can you go back just, yeah. We don't have a national underwater cultural heritage inventory so far. We are working on that in the within the our collaboration with the Ministry of Culture. And as archaeologists, we deal mainly with the General Directorate of Antiquities, which I must say has been more and more collaborative in recent years. So there is hope. There is hope to change things. Next slide, please. So in order for us to mitigate all these challenges, we build on capacity building, as I'm sure several other institutions. I've heard several other experts that have spoken about capacity building, and we can collaborate. We can collaborate with these institutions to enhance capacity building and raise the awareness of the importance of the archaeological heritage, whether underwater or on the coast. We need more cooperative training, and I'm hopeful that this such a meeting will be one of the initiatives, hopefully, to pursue in the future. And the presence of the NGO is definitely a plus, and we have started to get in touch with these NGOs. Next slide, please. Yes. No.
I changed the slide.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, it's this one, right? Lucy. Hello. We cannot hear you.
For her leaving this world, she left the bulk of her estate to enhance and develop a maritime archaeology in Lebanon, Cyprus, and Syria. And the foundation is based in London. Next slide, please. Sorry, I'm wait. Yeah. So who we are, the foundation is directed by a board of trustees, and it has full-time and part-time staff that deal with archaeology, social media, grants, publications, administration, legal advice, and so forth. Please, if you want to know more about the projects that the underwater that the HFF has done in Lebanon, go to the web page honorfrostfoundation.org. I did not have much time within these theoretical 5 minutes to present the long list of projects that we have done in Lebanon so far. But please do make sure that to visit our Facebook page, our Instagram, and our webpage. Next slide, please. So this slide is only for me to introduce the HFF Lebanon. So HFF Lebanon has been established just a year ago in order to respond to the specific needs of maritime archaeology in Lebanon. And one of our main priorities in HFF is a capacity building. Next slide, please. So this is what we do. So whether this is through grants to support research projects at institutional level, like collaborations with CNRS that we had back in 2015, and the ongoing, hi Millet, Dr. Millet, and we're collaborating with DGA. So such institutions do not have maritime archaeological experts. So HFF offers the possibility of providing expertise in the maritime archaeological field if needed. And so this unit, the HFF Lebanon unit, was created specifically to respond to urgent archaeological needs, for example, ahead of a development project. We also set collaborations at university level. We collaborated with the Institute of Environment at UOB, hi Manal and Manal. I would like to say for the very super interesting initiative of artificial reefs, that I really do sincerely hope that maritime archaeologists can be part of the discussion on and implementation of such projects to make sure that, you know, the reefs do not constitute any threat to the underwater cultural heritage, but, you know, rather something of a plus that can complement these reefs. The same goes with the MPA that was were discussed before. So they need to be more inclusive of underwater archaeology. For example, there's a snorkeling trail of the archaeology. Dr. Samaha mentioned that in Ras al-Shikka there's and in Enfi there's a new MPA that is suggested. I have done my postdoc on Enfi, on mapping the archaeology underwater of Enfi, so this surely needs to be included in such a scheme. The same goes for Ras al-Sha'a, Wajh al-Hajar, Mazra'at Hanoush, etc., etc. So we would also be very super happy to collaborate with with the Lebanese army and the marine forces and try to set a collaborative scheme because we need them. We absolutely need their help in monitoring the illegal trafficking of not only of people, unfortunately, but also of underwater cultural heritage. What we do at the Honor Frost Foundation is also encourage not only develop initiatives at an institutional level, but also support individuals, and that is by granting grants, by offering bursaries and grants to students to study abroad, because unfortunately, apart from the AUB minor in marine science and culture, which I am one of the lecturers of, we don't have an academic program in maritime archaeology yet in Lebanon. So we support archaeologists and other people who are interested in pursuing their maritime archaeological education abroad, whether this is at MA level or at PhD level. HFF also has a lot of activity in raising awareness with maritime communities on the importance of underwater cultural heritage. It also encourages the dissemination and publication of maritime archaeological research and work, and it works overall into developing the discipline. But surely without, and this is final message, this can be, all the work that HFF is doing would be greatly enhanced by us collaborating with all the people present in this panel. And I thank you so much for your attention.